let's start. Yes. Namaste, everyone. Welcome to Advaita Vedanta House, Satsang. Today is being Sunday, we have an open discussion. So I've left the chat and hand raising open. So please come up. And as Bindoji mentions, no question is a bad question. So please don't feel shy. Don't hesitate. Come up and ask questions, and let's have a lively discussion with Bindoji. I've also in the chat put links for, since the ongoing sessions are on Bhagavad Gita, all the previous sessions, every Monday to Friday, 8:30 p.m. IST, we meet for an hour where Bindoji gives us a 1 hour class on the different chapters of Bhagavad Gita. We are on chapter 3. The replays are available on Clubhouse as usual, and always, if you go back to the back channel or the chat, you can see 3 links shared. One is YouTube, which is Advaita Retold. Then you have Spotify, Apple Podcasts. And there's also a book published by Artemisia based on Bindoji's insights into Advaita. So there was a question in the chat, what is the room about? The room is about a method of practice. I think that person has left, so I'll leave it open. And with that, Namaste, Sanjeevji. Over to you.
Namaste, Bindoji. Yeah, namaste.
Namaste. Namaste, Sanjeev.
I said namaste. Yeah.
Yeah. Namaste, Srini. Yeah.
Namaste,
Sanjeev, you have any question? You can go ahead.
Yeah. My question was, as if I were to stick only to Advaita, Vedanta.
No, not necessarily. But other than Advaita, if you ask me and if I don't know, I will be frank to tell you that I don't know.
No. I'll not. No, my question is not that. I'm saying, of course, is it possible to get moksha only by following Advaita Vedanta? Okay, let me put it that way.
No.
Okay.
Moksha is only by knowledge as per Advaita. Because moksha is what? That has to be defined. Because moksha as per Advaita is knowing oneself. And when you know you are not this body, mind, intellect complex, you are no more guided and controlled and going through the problems of this body, mind and intellect. For that, why we have this body, mind and intellect association or feeling is that it is due to avidya or misconception or misunderstanding of that we are the body, mind, intellect. But we know that we know the body, mind, intellect as objects knowable. So the knower is different from the knowable. So the knowing the knower is the release from the feeling that we are the body, mind, intellect. And therefore that is what is Advaita addressing as moksha. And that can be only achieved through knowing your true nature as to what you are. And that is the Advaita method. In other method, there are, Sarutya, Sarimipya, Sarivijya, all those things like Krishna, Shiva, or they can do the devotional way, or you can go through the, service of God. But what moksha they are talking about is different from what Advaita is talking about. So you have to decide as to which moksha if you are referring to, and based on that you have to ask the question from that path where you feel that you are comfortable with. But moksha is basically defined as release from the wrong knowledge. If you have a wrong knowledge, then that is what is Advaita addressing. But if you think that there is a real God and, by service of God, the God will get pleased and he will give you moksha, that is a faith-based or belief-based system. And whether that is true or not, even those people who say about it, they cannot guarantee it. But they say you have to have faith. That is what they will say.
No, I think I got. You see, you said okay. So you said you have to. So what is the best one can get from through Advaita? You said moksha. Different paths will give different final destinations, right? I
Yeah.
think you can give short answer so that so
So,
different paths will give different final goals, right? Is that what you
yeah,
said?
Advaita defines moksha as atyanta dukkha nivritti ananda sukha prapti. That is instantaneous freedom from all sufferings and eternal peace and bliss. If that is satisfying you, then we'll move to Srinivas. Namaste, Srini.
Namaste, Bindaji. So, so after going through all this Karma Yoga, I had this question that if we take example of a Ramana Maharshi, so in his, like he being one of the modern examples of a Jnani, will he able to look at this Karma Yoga and recount his own life experiences where he had some of this, maybe he passed through these milestones or something like that? Do you think that would be his state? In his state, would he able to recollect some of these things, Bindoji?
I don't think anybody can recollect from the past life.
Past life, current life only I'm talking about.
No, in the current life, he has not gone through Karma Yoga. His method was different. He had a mumukshutvam. To the example which I said, when your hair is on fire, what you will run to or do to put out the fire, that type of a thirst was him, where he said that I want to know what will happen if I die. That was the example what he did, and he tried to replicate death onto himself. That is the time he understood that there is no death. The death itself is a wrong concept, and that made him look for the one who was aware all the time, even when the death was being invoked on his body, when he was lying down in the room and invoking death on, how the death will feel like that. The knower of that is what is the reality he understood. Then he went into the Arunachala hill and into the cave and started doing the meditation on that awareness.
I was thinking maybe when he was younger, like 10 years or 15 years, he would have done some. So that is, so I know that he had some near death experience when he was 14 or something, right? So in that way I was thinking. But as a pramana, he should be able to understand that this is how it is going to work. So nothing of this karma yoga will be in his own anubhava at all. Is it? Like, because maybe, yeah, like you said, his samskara or something like that.
Yeah. He had never mentioned about Karma Yoga in any of his teachings.
That was my question. Actually, most of the 20th century gurus seem to have bypassed this, or somehow, I don't think Ramana Maharshi said anything negative about it, but there are other gurus who kind of gave it a negative image also, right? So, why do you think such, at least maybe that's my perception, but do you think why such a thing would happen? If it is easily understandable, so and the linked question is, like we discussed the three types of things, right? That embryo example. So even in that embryo example, that kind of stage also is the self-inquiry important. Like even so that will, so even if we practice, like for example, I heard that if someone only does Mahavakya Vichara or something in life without really worrying about these aspects of Nishkama Karma or anything like that. Now, do you think that will also work, or does that have this Nishkama Karma or something as a prerequisite kind of thing?
Srini, you have to understand the picture in the sense that people who are into the meditation on the Upanishad Vakya are all people with Jnana Nishta. They have already understood the importance of Jnana and they are in a path of Jnana Nishta. For them, the karma yoga, karma sannyasa are not any more of importance, or it is not enticing them to do into action. And they are not doing, and the actions are karma yoga also. Even though their daily activities are going on, their jnana nishta is so strong that they are getting into the jnana nishta as their, the most preferred path and enticing path for them. But karma yoga, karma sannyasa, or the yoga, yajnata karma, all those things are being advised to people who are rajasic in nature, who are into action, but have no inclination towards jnana. They have no inclination towards jnana. Even if you talk about Upanishad or Gita class or attending that, then they will get bored. They will start yawning and sleeping, or they will get up and go. Because their mind is not into that. Their mind is so agitated, so they cannot even listen to it properly. So Shravana should be the first aspect of it. So the Jnana Nishta starts with Shravana. And those who have heard Shravana through the hearing of the scriptures and the teachings only will know what is a Mahavakya or a meditation on the Mahavakya, etc. But here the Karma Yoga and Karma Sannyasa or Yajnartha Karma is all being addressed to people are highly agitated in the mind and active in their day-to-day life. But they do not know how to tune that actions whereby they can get out of the karma phala or the fruits of action which will keep them eternally binding into the karma. Because if you are going for the fruits of action, it will bind you back into the action. So when that is going on, and if they hear some satsang or somewhere that there is this karma yoga, karma sannyasa, etc., that will kindle the fire in them that I want to this. That is why, if you remember the Mundaka Upanishad, Pariksha Lokan Karma Chitan Brahmana, Nirvedamaya. That Nirvedam or the rejection or the detachment towards karma should happen in such people. That is why then only that Jnana Nishta path of Shravana can take place.
Okay, so then even though they are not advising verbally, we can see the happening of karma yoga in their own actions, right? Like Ramana Maharshi's actions will be the epitome of what karma yoga is being taught. Is that the way, like many other gurus, like even JK or whoever, like I don't know, I don't want to mention names, but anybody who is doing that.
Whether they are doing it a karma yoga way or not, they will be able to only tell, because if they had a interest in fruit of action, for example, you may be a great Swami and with a great setup of institution and everything, but your interest is to build the organization, develop into an international setup and, name and fame. That is not a karma yoga. That is only what you call is just like a devotion of an other person in the family man into devotion. This person is into activity in such a way that he is utilizing the tools of Upanishad or Gita for his popularity and earning money. It is not a karma yoga.
But they should act. They are the examples, right? Like for the society to look and not these people. No, I'm talking about the Brahmanishta people. Like people like Ramana Maharshi. They are like the people who should be looked up to, right? So automatically, I think whatever they are doing will become an example to follow, or not in the literal sense, but somehow I think they are the pramana, right, for rest of us, kind of.
Yeah, that they are the pramana. That is why today there are so many people reading Ramana's teachings, going to Tiruvannamalai, doing meditation in the room, and that is because he is an example where silence has brought him the peace of mind or the tranquility or the what you call sthita prajna state. So that is why the people are following him. Okay, so can you mute your? Right. Thank you.
So,
So that
sorry
is
for interrupting
just
you,
a minute.
sir. Can I
Just a
ask
minute, Keshav.
one question?
Let me finish, Srini, then I'll ask you.
Okay, sir.
Right. Yeah, Srini.
Thank you, Binduji. I have some questions. I will go after Keshav again. You can go ahead. Yeah.
Okay. Namaste, Keshav.
What is the exact or appropriate difference between Dvaita or Advaitavad? For me.
Advaita talks about one truth.
Okay.
There is no two truth. There is only Ekameva Advitiyam Brahma. We call it as Brahma. And Dvaita is where the God is there and his creations are there too. That is how they deal it. Thank you.
Binduji, one more thing I wanted to ask was, I heard that 2, 3 are the main subject matter of Gita, and from 4 onwards again it's a reiteration of 2 and 3. Is that the right understanding, or did you hear any such thing?
I have not heard anything like that. Each chapter is a yoga by itself, and it has got different names also. Karma yoga, karma sannyasa yoga, like that it goes.
Okay. Thank you, Binduji.
I will ask. You finished now, Srini?
Yeah, go ahead, Sanjeevji.
Yeah.
Bhagavad Gita mein like meditation is there as a sadhana, matlab karma yoga, bhakti yoga. If I leave aside as a sadhana, meditation has been told very clearly.
Yes.
Is a chintan, whatever that means, is chintan sadhana a full substitute? My first question is very short, yes or no. Full substitute for meditation. Chintan sadhana as a full substitute for meditation.
No. Meditation is chitta ekagrata. That is, the thought which is happening in our mind is reduced to single-pointedness. It is keeping either the Ishvara or some Mahavakya or as your tool for concentrating the mind which is running around with different things to come to a single ekyakrita. Eka agram means one-pointedness, single-pointedness. That is what meditation is. Whereas Chintan, or what you call it as Mananam in Sanskritam, is analyzing what you have heard in Shravana, what you have heard in the, from the, either from lecture or reading a scripture or anything like that. Analyzing in your own mind the details of it and coming to, more affirmations, which is right or what is the way in which I have to go or what is the method which is suiting me. And then you further narrow it down until it becomes a nididhyasana. Nididhyasana means nischayatmikadhi, where your, conviction takes place. This is the truth. Then that truth, when you have the anubhava or the experience, I am the truth. That is the culmination of what is the path of Advaita.
These words are quite, I'm not very sure, in different texts, Chintan, Manana, they are used either interchangeably or perhaps not. But either way, what you said, the first answer was, the brief answer was, Chintan is no substitute for So you have to
meditation.
do both. Meditation plus Chintan, both you have to do, right? That's what you said, right?
Yeah, meditation is a practice of training the mind to do the concentration. It will not have any other benefit out of meditation. Meditation is training your mind basically to meditate upon, and it will take you at levels from depending upon the strength of your meditation. It can even, allow you to a state of no mind, where the mind becomes inactive. So that is a meditation technique. But that will not give you the affirmation as to who you are. That who you are will still be a question mark after meditation.
Meditation alone, like I think some of the texts of Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya talks about Nirvikalpa Samadhi, which is, so my question is, meditation alone will, can some other sadhana, between Chintan and meditation definitely takes to Nirvikalpa Samadhi. Can Chintan alone take you there?
Nirvikalpa Samadhi, see, the thing is that, Sanjeev ji, the meaning of Nirvikalpa, Vikalpa means agitation or modifications of the mind. Nirvikalpa means when the mind is not going through modifications. In the sense, there are not many thoughts. So Nirvikalpa Samadhi is the state where there is the mind, as we know, which is full of multiple thoughts, do not exist, and the mind becomes a static mind, where there are no thoughts, is what is called the Nirvikalpa Avastha. There are some, in the Yoga Sutra of Patanjali, there are many methods, Sabija, Nirbija, all those, there are methods, different methods. And those who are, if you want to, you have to go and read the Patanjali's yoga methods for the meditation on that. But Advaita doesn't talk about that as a requirement. Shankaracharya, what he has written, is not the Shankaracharya who wrote the commentary for Upanishads and Gita and the Brahma Sutra. It is written by Shankaracharyas in the tradition. But in India, there was never a tradition to write the name of the author of any book. So if it is written by one Shankaracharya or his follower also who has been named as Shankaracharya, the book was called as Shankaracharya Virachitam. That's all they used to leave it. That naming of the Shankaracharya started later in the 13th century onwards. Before that, there was not much of a detailing of which Shankaracharya wrote it.
Nirvikalpa Samadhi a must for moksha. Whichever moksha you take. You said there are different letters. Okay, so any moksha you take. Is Nirvikalpa Samadhi a must for moksha?
No.
And one who has got Nirvikalpa Samadhi, is it necessary? Is it like one who has got Nirvikalpa Samadhi would have necessarily got moksha? The reverse question.
Not necessarily. Because Nirvikalpa Samadhi, any Samadhi, there is Vyatthana. After that, you get out of the Samadhi to become who you are. And you will be the person who went to meditation after you finish your meditation. Whereas in the Advaita method, when you have the knowledge, you are no more associating with your body, mind, intellect as you are the person. You know that you are the self, the pure conscious awareness, which is operating through the body as initially as Sakshi, and then you go beyond Sakshi to that Satchitananda Swarupa. That is the time when the Swarupa or Sabhava will become of consciousness or awareness of pure nature. Thereafter, the body will be seen as a tool which is being operated, like we use our eyes, ears, etc. as tools. Even the mind and intellect and the body will become tools for operation, not as I am the body or I am the mind or I am the intellect. That thought will not be there.
Thank you, Binduji. I'm done asking. Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sanjeev. Namaste, Jesse.
Namaste, Binduji, and hello, everyone. I'm thinking that it would be very good for me to memorize progression of something. I think that will help me. And so I'm wondering if you can speak to me almost in like story fashion or progression. I'm looking at, I know that first we practice karma yoga and the mind is then purified. And then from the purity of the mind comes the fourfold qualification for Vedanta. And I'm wondering if you could speak to me about the fourfold qualification as well as what comes next in terms of the sixfold discipline, and particularly how mumukshutam, the intense desire to be free of samsara, plays a guiding role in this litany or progression. I'm just looking for you to talk to me about it in a way that I can understand it and hopefully commit it more to memory. Thank you.
Jesse, you are virtually asking me to go through the entire Aparokshanubhuti once
Okay,
more.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I will withdraw the question, but I guess then my question is it helpful? Would it be helpful for me to memorize this progression to just bring to mind when I have doubts or when I am looking for deeper study?
What I would suggest is that if you can go back to my lectures on Aparokshanubhuti, listen to that, because it has very categorically taken us from de-identifying with the body, mind, intellect to the level of understanding and nididhyasana. And it has even toward the end has given the 15 steps, which is not the Patanjali yoga, but Advaitic yoga, which is called the Raja Yoga. That method where you can practice it, where these sixfold qualities, everything can be developed also. It is mentioned very clearly in that. Go through that once more, and at any point of time, you can send me a message or you can come and ask questions in the room. I will be glad to help you.
Thank you. Yes, I think I am looking for the ability to hold the story and the progression. So I'll go back to those 15 steps in Aparokshanubhuti. Thank you so much, Bindu. Blessings.
Yeah, that starts with the 100th verse, the 15 steps. Thank you, Jesse.
Binduji, now when we look back at like the Taittiriya Upanishad statement which said Satyam Vada Dharmam Chara, so can we say it is like talking about like 2 and 3 chapters, like the to like follow Satyam of the second chapter, then automatically the Dharma will you'll become embodiment. Can we say think of it like that?
There it is not talking about the Satyam of second chapter. There it is talking is about our on a practice, day-to-day practice basis. Even for a jovial way, we should not be, entertaining untrue statements. That to that extent, that is why Satyam Vada. And Dharmam Chara, it is practice your duties. Now, how the duties have to be practiced, whereby it will release you from the samsara is not mentioned in the Taittiriya. So that is different from the Bhagavad Gita 2nd and 3rd chapter.
Okay. Thank you, Bindaji.
The hand raising and chat are open. If anybody wants to come up, Jay is coming up. Greetings, Jay.
Namaste, Jain.
Namaste, Binduji. Yeah, it's a struggle these days to ask for questions. Thank you for that. Basically, my current question is, Binduji, I am currently of the understanding that whatever projects these thoughts is what is projecting the physical universe also. And the only thing the personality can do is take a step back, to just be still and watch, so that the thing which runs this universe is what projects these thoughts also. So then this personality, if we just try to stay with what projects these thoughts, then this personality will know that it itself is not real, or it is created by what is projected in the individual body's mind. But then whatever is projected in this individual body's mind is also projects this universe. So the only way, if at all there is, for this individual representational entity is to stay still and know that the universal consciousness is this I. Is it?
See, you have told it correctly, but there are slight definitions which you have to understand, or some explanations which you have to understand. Because it is easy for us to become the individual who is projecting. There is no individual which is projecting. The projection is always by the consciousness or awareness. There, at that level, there is no individuality, no Jai. But what happens is that the one which you mentioned is a Sakshi level, a witness who knows as the individual which is going through the experiences of waking, dream and deep sleep. And a knower of the three, being a witness of it. That is why you said the projection of the whole, the world of waker, the world of dream, the world dreamer, and the deep sleep. All the three are projected from the same consciousness or awareness. But that time, when you are identifying, you are not leaving your individuality as one waker, one dreamer, one deep sleeper. That is what is called the witness at the witness level. But when you are reaching that level or at that level, you need to dwell upon more to know that it is not anymore related to the individual who is in waking, dream and deep sleep. It is the phenomena which is the waking, dream and deep sleep which are being witnessed. Because in waking, there are others also. He is there, Jai is there, Jai's world is there, in the world there are other people also. Same way, in the dream, the dreamer Jai is there, the dream world is there, the projections are there. So when you are looking at that way, the chance that you will still hold on to your individuality is very high. So that is why when you use the word, the individuality which is projecting the world, the universe, I wanted to correct you, because that is the time when you are,
Sorry, 1 second. Okay, I might have chosen wrong words. Sorry to cut you in the middle, but
yep,
it has taken me many decades to understand this very, very rare thing that the individual is part of a projection. This is
right,
one of the toughest, greatest thing I believe this individual has understood after humongous effort. And I believe if at all I can separate myself and say this is, and even 50% of the or 90% of the time, even today I forget this. But okay, so please, I did
yeah,
not say, or I did not even mean to say that the individual projects. No, there is a universal creation and running. In a sense, it is projection, and there is an individual mind or a body's projection is also happening, and this personality is part of the projection only. And
okay,
even shockingly, I mean, one other thing which gave me this insight is nobody can guess what is the thought we are going to get next 10 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes ago, because that decision is done by that individual, that projection only. Whether I take the
yes,
role of a father or a husband or a son or a passenger or an employee or a taxpayer, all these things after 10 seconds, what is going to happen is decided by that projection only, the individual. Okay. So sorry.
mm,
Please, with this thing, proceed with this
okay.
thing.
Then you are in the right understanding. That is not called a projector or one who projects things. It is that in which appearances takes place. There is no projection. Projection will be only if you think there is a experience and one who knows the experience. It is to be now understood the one which is in which the 10 seconds or 10 minutes later what is going to happen is all in the same area or the same substratum where the consciousness or the awareness in which it is happening is unchanging. That is what is called the eternality of the awareness. There is no change in that. But what is changing is the experiences as the waker and his experiences. That is not by the person, by that awareness. When you become that, the waker may forget. That is what you said. Most of the time it will forget about that. It is the swabhava or the nature of awareness. The moment it functions through the mind and intellect, it will forget who he or from where the awareness has come. The awareness in the mind and the intellect is from the awareness which is the total picture, like the space, the subtler than the space. So when we look at that way, we should be knowing that even when we are operating in through our mind and intellect, the operation of the mind and the intellect is dependent on the awareness. And when we know that dependency on the awareness, it is not my awareness, you should not say that. It is the awareness, which is the same awareness in the mind. It is the same awareness in the object. It is in the same awareness in the space, cosmos, universe, wherever. Everything is in that same awareness. That is the one which is now giving the feeling that there is a projection, there is a world, there is a waker, there is a dreamer, etc. is a feeling at the mind level. But at the awareness level, it is not even an experience. There is a state of total awareness only. That is why when you are associating with that awareness, there are no questions, because there is to whom you will ask questions. Your questions will not come up because there is nothing to ask about. Because there is no second thing other than the awareness in it. Because appearances are not separate from it. It is like the dream happening. It is the same way the waking happening. It is the same way we think that the whole individuality is happening, the whole universe is happening. It's all from the same thing. So the forgetfulness coming is when we associate with the mind and intellect. But when we can associate it as the awareness, then what is happening even in the mind and intellect will be seen as you rightly said, as a projection, or I call it as appearance in the awareness. That is the difference between the two.
I have two more questions, which
Yes.
triggered one question. See now, even like awareness and consciousness, people equate it. Okay, awareness equals to consciousness. This is one. And this consciousness also, what I've heard is this universal play. The whole universe is running, and that is consciousness, is what one simple definition people say in Advaita circles. And in Advaita also they say like there's nothing to do. Summa ire. There is, from the mind's point of view, there is no action to be done. The only thing is inaction is, if at all anything, the light is seen, it is with inaction only. So from thousands of years they said go meditate, go to forest, or stay alone, or go to jungle, go to hill and all. So I'm seeing a complete contradiction. Like you say, Summa iru, stay empty, be still, which is awareness. And consciousness is this universal Maya, universal action. It is moving all the large Milky Way galaxies and all those things, right? So for the mind, it is told stay still. But the universe is moving with phenomenal speed and discipline. How can we reconcile these two things about the same thing? Like these two qualities, stay still, universal action. And because and change is always happening, and even Krishna somewhere says change is the permanent thing. So how come stillness and continuous change be the same?
That is the beauty of it. Where did the changes you saw it?
So in that changeless only all these things are changing.
Yes.
And that changeless only has become this changing thing.
It has not become. It is an appearance in that.
Okay. So whatever this physical universe...
Did the water become waves?
At the same time, both are real.
Both are real.
This is the toughest part.
Yeah. In Advaita, there is a method which we call it as the threads, when woven, will become a cloth. And when you pull the thread, the cloth will disappear back into thread. Now, the appearance of the cloth and its reality is not there when it was in the thread form. And later when the thread was seen, when the cloth is gone, that time also the reality is only thread. But the cloth appeared in between as independent, existing, and the threads were not seen independently. That phenomena of Adau Andau Yadnasti Madhye Tathada, the Mandukya 2.6, I think 2.6, yes, or 2.1. No, that there it is, that what is not there in the beginning and what is not there in the after cannot be there in the middle also, even if it is appearing to be there. So we have all our experiences are in between. If you look, all experiences, waking, dream and deep sleep, we don't have any other, the fourth experience we don't have. Each experience is temporary in nature. When we experience, one is there, the other two are not there. So one comes, other goes. One comes, other goes. Like that. So what comes and goes, if it is coming and going, then it cannot be permanent or real in this one. So that is the reason why we are telling that the appearance is that comes only when it is being felt it is there. Before it was not there, later it is not there. Therefore, what appears to be there in between is only a phenomena of appearance and it has no reality. The same is applicable to the consciousness. When it is in waking, it is talking that there is a cosmos, there is a universe moving so fast, all those things. But all of them goes back into the waker's mind, and then the dreamer and the dreamer mind comes into action. All the dream and the dream world and the dreamer goes back into that. And then the deep sleeper comes. And the deep sleeper, there is nothing happening. And then again waking happens, dream happens, deep sleep happens. One will come, the other will not be there. So which one is reality? We hold on to reality of waking, thinking that waking is the reality, dream and deep sleep are the waker's experience. That is because we are explaining everything in the waking. So waker says it is my experience. The dreamer also can explain that it is my experience. The waking and the deep sleep is my experience. But that when a dreamer makes it or not, we don't know. But we think that with all the discussion, everything is happening in the waking, so we call it as waking. So we have to find a solution for these problems in waking only. Once we have a solution in the waking, the solution of the dream and the deep sleep will be automatically known to us. There will not be a separate problem of dream and deep sleep. But once we know the answer, after that, when the waking happens, dream happens, or deep sleep happens, we will not be bothered because we know the reality is beyond the dream and waking and deep sleep, separate from that. The consciousness is neither at any point of time has the dreamer, waker, or deep sleeper. Those are all appearances in the awareness only. The awareness or the consciousness or the knowledge, or I am using different names because people are comfortable with the different names. Some people will feel consciousness. Some people will say awareness. Some people will say knowledge. Whatever it is bodham in Sanskrit. And that is why I say pratibodha viditam matam. Every experience when you're going through, it is happening in awareness. In experience, we go by the subject and the object and the connection between the subject and the object. But we do not know it is in consciousness. The subject is existing, the object is existing, and the connection between the subject and the object as an experience is also existing. So what really is the truth is that consciousness or the awareness in which it is happening. The experiencer of the object changes. So the experiencer of object 1 becomes object 2 experiencer, object 3 experiencer, and that is what is keeping on changing. That is waking experiencer, dream experiencer, or deep sleep experiencer. But all these three are happening in consciousness or awareness.
Okay, Binduji. My next question is, in Krishna, like last week when I heard, Krishna is insisting Arjuna to go and fight, and while trying to convince him, he also gives an example, something like, I am in the best of everything, right? So, and I believe this is just a social convincing somebody to go and be the best. So, why is this Krishna insisting on being the best? Because he's, as consciousness, he is only running everything. So why is he coming to this average people and telling the average people, hey, be the best because I'm the best? in everything.
Where is he saying?
My misunderstanding, sorry. Does he say something like that? Like I am in the best of everything. He doesn't say that?
No. He says, I am the best, I am the worst also. Both he says.
Okay. Fine.
Taskarana, taskara. That is, I am the thief of the biggest thief of all thieves. That also he says.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, he is saying, I am the jnani, not jnani. He is the knower of the knower. That also he is. There is nothing which he is not. That is the whole, the 10th chapter is that. All the examples which he is taking is to show that there is nothing which is not that what Krishna is not. That means he is a flower, he is an animal, he is a human being, among human beings, among gods, everything is he. That way when he is talking about, it is not that he is saying that I am now the king, I am that beggar or anything like that. It is to show that there is no expression of him outside the consciousness or awareness which is his Swarupa.
Binduji, my next question is, see now, this is based on your elaborative answer to my first question. So now J, the waking individual representational thought-made imaginary personality, now this is just one of the trillions and trillions of waves. Okay. So now let us assume he has got a very good neighbor in his left side and a very bad neighbor in his right side. Now there's a fight and this right side neighbor is torturing this J personality. And then let us assume the J finds out in reality he is that in which everything appears. Not only his internal thoughts, the whole physical universe appears and keeps on changing. Then after that, at least according to, and then will Jay continue to be fighting with this right side neighbor, or obviously he will try to be friendly because he sees in the other person also, but will Jay continue to be strongly defending his home after Jay knowing that is falseness?
See, in the waking, Jay will be Jay. And Jay will do his dharma or his duties, what he is supposed to do, even when he knows that he is the awareness which is present in everything. That is not going to change the waker of Jay, because the Jay waker has to perform as his prarabdha. What is the body has taken place, that will continue. This is what we discussed in the chapter, no? In the Bhagavad Gita, we discussed about it. So svabhavastu pravartate. The body will continue to perform the way in which it is supposed to perform. But only thing is that there will be a change in attitude with which you will be reacting to the person who is torturing you. You will not do the same way a foolish person will do, and the same way in which now the knowledge has taken place. So with the knowledge, your attitude will be different with which you will be reacting. There is no personality interest for Jai in his personality, that is the individuality, I and mine. That aspect is not there. But at the same time, the waker will be the waker, therefore Jai will continue to respond to the neighbor, but not the way in which earlier. So when your behavior changes, the neighbor's behavior also will change.
Thanks, Binduji. This is opening up to another, this itself is helpful, but this is opening up to my another question. All these nearly 30 years of spirituality, I always thought when somebody sees God and self-realization, their life will be on the bed of flowers and life will be always happy and peaceful. For example, wherever Buddha goes, I was like, that flowers are showering. Okay. That is one track of activity. But now, just 2 minutes ago, as you said this, I started understanding that actually even Rama's life was not a bed of roses. His father only threw him away, even though he was supposed to be the king, and his wife only somebody kidnapped, and he has to fight lots of struggle. He also has to face, and then Krishna also has to face lots and lots of struggle. There are people insulting him, people threatening him, people fighting with him. So now I'm understanding, even if Jay the personality, Bindoji personality, or the Prakash the personality knows that in reality this is a facade, this is false, this personality is transient, it's a singular wave. But in reality I am that universe. Even if we know, that doesn't mean that from that day onwards he is only always in ecstasy and ananda and singing and dancing and celebrating. People will still come and insult the personality, and the personality has to react. But as you said, the personality might not angrily, madly react. Maybe like they'll give a response with a smile instead of taking a sword and fighting with the other people. That is the only difference is going to happen. Even if Jay knows is the reality, I can't even say his reality, the reality, then like it happened to Krishna and Rama, in the day-to-day life, people will come and insult, make it painful, there will be body pain will happen, somebody will cut the legs off, or all those problems will continue to the individual body mind, even though Krishna is Krishna.
Yeah. So 100 times Krishna had to smile when he was abused by Jarasandha, no?
Okay. So that is his awesomeness. He had that control of
Yes.
accepting the insult.
But when it goes beyond, he has to take the
Correct. That also he promised, fortunately. Look,
required step.
I will
Required
only
step, yeah.
forgive 100 times. That he promised.
Yes. That's right. So same way, we also will know that whether that person is going to be, going beyond the level where our existence, that existence or whatever the dharma with which we are supposed to confirm, whether that is going to be hindered by the other person or not, then we will have to take a step according to see so that, the dharma is protected. Our dharma has to be maintained, has to be completed. But for the once that knowledge takes place, there is no dharma, adharma for the person. But what happens is that the body has still got the dharma, dharma. And body is only an instrument. I am not the body. So from the body point of view, the dharma, dharma protection has to be done. But from the awareness point of view, which is not using saying that I am not the body, where that idea has come to that person. So he is not more, I am protecting the dharma or I am protecting the, adharma, or that will not be happening to the person. He will be seeing from that consciousness, there is nothing happening. Akarta abhokta. I told you, he is neither the doer nor the enjoyer. But what is happening is mere appearance. That, that cannot be understood unless a person shifts to that level or realizes that one. Then only how it will feel like. Even if an example is given that you were in the dream, you were like that when you woke up, your dream is not there. But that doesn't mean that, immediately we will say that, oh, the dream is not there, so how will I know what is happening in the dream? That is our question which we'll ask. But imagine the people in the dream has seen this, that he still sees the person in the dream. You woke up doesn't mean your dream has stopped. Doesn't mean the dream can continue. Where is the guarantee where is the knowledge or experience which we can say the dream is continuing or not continuing? That is a very big question, because you can't go back into the dream which you have completed. You may go to the similar dream, you may have similar people and everything coming in. but that is another dream. Same way, we have a feeling this waking is continuous. But really speaking, even waking is like dream only. Every day when we are waking into it is a different world. And we may have the same people around, but what has been experienced in the previous waking is not what you are going to experience in this waking. There may appear to be similarity, but it is not exactly the same.
Thank you. Okay. My next question is, a few minutes ago when I asked you this question, like how can nothing be everything? Because for this J, the personality, the recommendation is, hey, you be nothing, then you know that you're everything. Okay, so then in my corner of my mind in the past 5 minutes it was running. So then I have a theory. Please help elaborate on this theory to help me to be very clear. Initially, there was only that everything unnameable whole thing, which is changeless. And then it becomes many, many things, including this J, the something. And this J, if he or she want to associate and try to with anything, then again, it is that part of everything. So this J, the only door is not anything, because it is not that J existed and he is trying to find out that everything. The everything is only created this J. So when J becomes nothing, then that everything which was timelessly available will continue to be available and J might get a hint of it. Correct, Binduji?
No, when J becomes nothing, everything also will become nothing, no? That is what happens in our deep sleep. You became nothing, so the entire world which you experience in waking or dream also became nothing, no?
But wait a second. The J become possible because that changeless
When
thing.
when everything is there, J is there, right?
But everything came into existence because of that changeless thing.
When J came into existence, everything is for J, not for somebody else.
J, the personality.
For them, their everything is different from J's everything. There may be something common. That doesn't mean everything what J has in his memory and his knowledge is the same with others also. They also will have common things, but more than that, they will have their personal things which are different from J, right? But that thing, that person is also one of the things in J's knowledge. Like I am a object in your knowledge, and you are an object in my knowledge, right?
The personality is in me now. The personality.
Personality or object or things like that, anything.
Okay.
So when J becomes nothing, let us assume J is become nothing, means has become that awareness where there is nothingness, other than that there is nothing else. So where did the everything of J go? It also went along with J. J when it became nothing means everything which is dependent upon J also will have to become nothing. When I'm saying nothing, means the consciousness or awareness or Brahma.
Okay. But Binduji, there's a subtle thing here. When J, the personality, tries to be nothing, then that awareness, consciousness, this light will be known to exist. Correct?
That is that J, you stressed on the word tries to become nothing. Is that what you intend?
Correct. That's the only thing he can do.
He can't do.
Correct.
Either he can't do anything. Jai, either he is everything, is knowing, knower of everything, or he is everything.
And the door to go to this everything for J is to be nothing.
To become everything.
Two.
Yeah, Jai becomes everything. So then Jai becomes nothing.
No.
Because everything becomes Jai means there is nothing other than Jai.
Correct. Or there was always this changeless, qualityless thing existing, and the J, the only way to reach there is to, I mean, if at all. See, the thing is, J all these decades was putting effort to go outside, achieve something, be something, do something, and all those things in the outside. But when J drops everything and tries to stay with nothing, then J will know his personality's unreality, and then some light will happen which will know that it only existed always.
It only existed always is the truth always.
Okay.
But Jai, when he was trying to, wake up from the dream where he is scared of the dream. But where he wanted to wake up was what Jai was always. He was never a dreamer. But in the dream, when the problem came, you wanted to get out of the dream. The lion chased you or something attacked you, you want to wake up. You are struggling to wake up. And you tried to wake up and then you are not able to wake up. But suddenly you wake up and then you realize that, oh, the dream was in my mind. Right? I was dreaming from my mind. So when you used to do that, what is the feeling you have got? A sense of relief. Oh, it was not real. Suppose if you wake up from the waking to the awareness and then all your trial to wake up from the waking to that awareness, then suddenly you realize that, oh, that was the same thing which I was with the waking was nothing but that. I was experiencing the waking in my mind. Now, that is not a reality, but an experience in my mind. That will be the experience when you wake up from the waking also. Similar from waking from the dream, when you wake up, you said that, no, it was in my mind. Same thing you will say when you wake up from the waking to that knowledge. Oh, it was in my knowledge or this awareness, which is not my knowledge. That time you will realize there is no my separate, because my is only for the waker. So the word my is not applicable at that point. Oh, it was always in that awareness. I was the waker with a waking mind, thinking that I am there and the whole world is there.
I've got another analogy. Please.
Go ahead.
Yeah, thank you. So this is like me looking at many things and then running here, there, and all those things in the outside. But then some guru says, no, whatever the light behind you, which is coming from inside you, is the reality. So this J, the personality, looks back and realizes that light was the reality all along, and this J, the personality, was just a shadow which is created by this light which is running this everything. So instead of looking outside, if J can look inside or backwards about the source of this light, then J will know that that light was only real always, and that light was only creating all the shadows of everything, including J. Is this a correct analogy?
Yes, that's the analogy. You exactly said that.
Okay, that is why this looking back, going in, staying still, Then okay, finding out again. Finding the false as the false is sufficient. The truth was always there. Okay,
Yes.
Binduji. Thank you very much. That is
Thank you, Jay.
phenomenal. And I join most of these days, Binduji, and every single day I listen to your talks. It is insightful, helpful, and I'm surprised that every single day I listen to you. There is like 2-3 insights I get. I write it down, and all based on this fundamental only. It's nothing about even knowledge, not learning. It is already there. There is nowhere to go.
Yeah, I was noticing you there in all my classes, and I also was happy that Jay has no more questions.
I know this is becoming from the past few months, and I don't even study much of spirituality these days. I mostly only listen to you, and from my school days, I'm known to be famous for asking questions, both in classroom and science and technology and spirituality. But this is the first time ever I'm thinking like enough is enough. If I just qualify, is this Paramarthika? I mean, about the outside or the inside, 99% of the questions are about outside only. Even in Advaita, like how to reach, why it happened to him, why, what, and all those things. So asking, knowing the right direction itself, like where to look, it is not outside, inside. This fundamental thing only will remove 99% of the trash and the rubbish, or, trying to drink water from a mirage.
Right.
Right. So looking inside, staying inside, and just being a decent human being and doing a decent, playing a decent role in our family, and then looking inside and in our free time is ultimate. Thanks.
Thank you, Jay.
Anybody else?
Hand raising and chat are open. So if you have any questions or any discussions, we have another 10 minutes or so before I close the hand raising. And as Bindoji reminds us, no question, if you have a question, should not be asked. It should be asked. So there you go.
A joke that the Advaita teachers should get the Guru Dakshana in advance, because at the end, the student is going to vanish.
Bindoji, earlier in the discussion with Sanjeev ji, this
Right.
aspect, the agitated mind comes up, right?
Yes.
And a lot of times, the Sravana, when it is happening with certain qualities, by certain level of, discernment, the agitation goes away, right? When the Sravana happens. So can you give some pointers of how to begin Sravana? It's very elemental, but I think it might be useful for all of us.
See, a lot of our potency depends upon our latent impressions and habits which we have been carrying in our, growing up period. And these tendencies are the one which shapes us in our potencies to absorb, listen, absorb things like that. But if your tendency is always agitated, that is the time when we explain the requirement of practices of sadhana, which I was telling Jesse to read the steps in the Aprokshanubhuti, that Yama, Niyama, etc., which is not the Patanjali method, but Advaitic method, where controlling the senses, controlling the mind, using the methodology which are available, all these things will quieten the mind. And when the quietening the mind is taking place, then only your sense organs can be really put into use. Otherwise, the sense organs will be running after the practices with which they were. So even if the sound is reaching the ears, the mind to absorb that, what has been listened or what has been brought in by the sound to your ears, may not touch your heart or mind to a level where it becomes a information or a knowledge. So it is very important for us to develop the Yama and Niyama aspect of both external and internal sense organs regulation, so that the mind becomes a sturdier mind where absorption becomes easier. Only such a mind is capable of doing Shravana. And the practice for that is we should understand the sense organs and our habits with the sense organs. That is the external sense organs. And the internal sense organs is where our thoughts, dreaming, hallucination, daydreaming, or imagination, all these things are where our internal sense organs are functioning. So there, controlling is much more difficult at the internal level. That is the time when we may have to keep on repeatedly listening to the same lecture. But a lot of people, what they do, they listen once. 10% or 15% only would have been really, heard by them. But they think that the full lecture has been heard. And they will miss out the remaining 80% or whatever they have not heard. Because they have been listening, but they have not heard it. So there is a difference between hearing the sound and absorbing it. So this is to be done by the internal sense control, for which that is why Shravana repetition is the only method through which it can be done. That is actually not Shravana in the sense the sound which is being heard is not what is being absorbed. It is, for example, the best way is that a song which you like, first time you liked it, but when you keep repeating it, the lyrics of it and the tune of it becomes a habit for you. When that song is there or not even there, you can sing it, they can listen to the singing from your mind. Right? So this is the habit of repeatedly listening to the same lecture. If you are not understood, nothing wrong. Listen to it again. I told you, I myself do it many times. For example, I think I have told this earlier also in this thing. The lecture of Brihadaranya Upanishad, which is running into 396 hours of lecture. I have listened it 8 times. I will like to listen to it again and again. I will do it whenever I am getting time for it. So each time I am listening, hearing it again through the headphone, I am getting a new insight of that meaning of the words. That this is something which improves our Shravana. So nothing wrong that if you are repeating a lecture and hearing it again and again. But the crux of the thing is that absorption of what you are hearing. That is when the Shravana is successful.
Yes, thank you, Bindoji. Anybody else wants to come up or pose a question, please feel free to do so.
Otherwise, we'll
Just a
call it a
reminder,
day.
we have
Go ahead.
the Bhagavad Gita sessions going on from 8:30 p.m. IST Monday to Friday. And as Bindoji mentioned, the Shravana aspect, being able to go back and listen to them if you are interested. They're well catalogued in the YouTube channel, Advaita Retold, which I use often. And then there is also Apple and Spotify links that are provided. Or Clubhouse. You can use Clubhouse to go and listen to them. Go ahead, Bindoji. Sorry,
No.
Binduji, one question I'll ask.
Yes.
Thank you. So Binduji, then at least from this wholeness point of view, acceptance is actually a great quality. I think which is not getting so much respect for this world, because in spirituality and even Advaita, there are so many things people talk. But then I might have underestimated the greatness of acceptance, because acceptance comes of great maturity and it's great, right? People
Yes.
don't give so much value for acceptance.
But in spirituality, we call it as Shraddha.
I see, okay.
The Sanskrit word for it is Shraddha. Shraddha means acceptance without question. It is not a blind belief or a faith, or what you call it as, taking it without questioning doesn't mean that you are putting your logic to the side. The acceptance, when it is understood by the mind, it is an acceptance when the mind doesn't have any doubt in that. Then that is the time when the acceptance is really happening. Otherwise, it will be a blind belief. It is not a Shraddha. So the acceptance which you say is that time when you are accepting it with full understanding the pros and cons of it, and there is no iota of doubt of what you are accepting it. Then only the acceptance becomes successful. Thank you, Jai, for bringing that word acceptance. Prakash, can we wind up?
Sure, Bindoji. So everyone, thank you for coming. It was a very lively session. As always, thanks to Bindoji. So tomorrow we meet at 8:30 p.m. IST for the continuation of Bhagavad Gita chapter 3. And then that follows through all the way to Friday. And the next Advaita Open discussion will be back on Sunday. So over to you, Bindoji, to close the session.
Thank you, Prakash. Thank you, Srini, Jai, and Sanjeev, who asked the questions. And thank you all for listening and putting your comments in the chat box. We'll see you next Sunday for the open house. Otherwise, Monday to Friday will be Bhagavad Gita, as Prakash has mentioned. See you all. Hari Om. Good night.
Good night.